Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the FearFans podcast. I'm your host, Don Elmy, and here with me is my co host, Nick Millet, and the head of the Things Network, Jeremy York. And this evening, we are covering one of the most ridiculous horror comedies ever, one of the biggest cult classics of the 80s, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
And one of Jeremy's favorites.
Oh.
No. It is the favorite.
Your favorite.
Yes.
Yeah. So, this was released in 1988, and it was made by the Kyoto brothers. And this is like, I think, one of their big. This is definitely like their biggest hit.
Well, actually, it was the only film that they had made as filmmakers.
Yeah, like I said, biggest hit. They're one and only.
They had done effects for several other shows, but this one here, I've got no words. Yeah.
I know it's a movie that defies logic. It's just complete ridiculousness from beginning to end.
It is. Yes.
That's what makes like a ridiculous movie. This is the kind of thing that just became a legend just because of its absurdity.
Right. What's up, Robert? Good to see you.
Hello,
yeah,
Robert.
I mean, that's what it's like with some of these movies out there, like this one, for example, that's what eventually made it into a cult classic.
Oh yes. Yeah, 80s were a big year for film, and because I just when like some of my all-time favorite movies came out in the 80s, such as Aliens, The Terminator, Gremlins, long list of things. But this just stands out because like just for its premise alone, a bunch of aliens that look like clowns, and their ship, when stationary, looks like a circus tent, and they go around killing people with cotton candy, with by shooting popcorn, and trapping them in balloons, and
cotton candy cocoons. Yeah, just like all this crazy stuff that is involving clowns and circuses.
Oh yeah.
Looks like Brad's got some good news for you, Don.
Finally got my other printers up and working. We'll have that lightsaber finished for you. Oh, nice. I was about going to ask you what the status was of that. So, all right. I can't wait to see how it looks when it's finished. Yeah, so I love the picture you've been sending me so far, Brad. So keep up with the awesome work.
Yeah, the last picture that he sent me, he's going to have a license to carry it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
License to carry a lightsaber. Is that what the Jedis have had?
Well,
like, is that there's
not
some
that one that he sent me? Something else that he sent me. Oh,
like,
yeah.
Is there some sort of some sort of like certification that Jedis are supposed to have to carry a lightsaber that was never announced?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Yeah, I love Robert's comment here. The start of the diabetes era, cotton candy dads.
Actually,
he's not wrong. He's
not
wrong.
Brad said he just sent it to you, Don.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, he must be talking about that one.
Use the silver silk filament, so it's looking great now.
Awesome.
Just to give a quick shout out, because I'm looking for my personal page, so I'm going to send this as always. Nikki Cameron is on. Good to see you, Nikki.
Hey, John.
John Cromwell. Well, hey.
John is a good longtime friend of mine. We used to bowl together for years.
Oh, nice.
We even bowled together at nationals for a few years, and then he hurt his arm, so he had to quit bowling. This is cool. He is joining us from LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's joining us from LinkedIn, so this is awesome. You are the first comment, John, from LinkedIn on the Things Network. Thank you.
How about that, Don?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Like I said, Nikki Cameron from my personal page is watching it. For those who are watching, come over to the Things Network page so that way we can see your comments.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sending that message right now on the personal video.
All right, cool. Yeah, so what I was going to say, the Kyoto brothers, they are like, not only are they known for this film, but also doing some special effects and puppeteering work in other movies. Like two of the biggest, the ones that I know of, is the Will Ferrell film Elf. They did some special effects for that, and also Team America: World Police. They do like a lot of the puppeteering work in that. And you know who made that film, Nick?
Who is that?
Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park.
Really?
Yeah, Team America: World Police. It was all them.
Wow.
And and also their voices were unmistakable.
Who would have guessed?
Oh yeah. And so they've done special effects. So the Kyotos have worked on special effects for both good and bad films. Like several of the bad films that I remember was one of called King Cobra. Yeah, it was called King Cobra, when it had Pat Morita in it. Like a Mr. Miyagi.
I heard of that one.
Yeah, Mr. Miyagi, who fought against Cobra Kai and now actually fighting a cobra. So yeah, And then, but if you think that's ridiculous, the worst project that the Kyotos ever worked on in my book is called Pinata Survival Island. It's like really bad. It's like
I have that movie.
Oh my God.
I have that movie, and it is terrible.
Hey, Don,
it's one of the worst.
What Robert just wrote.
Hey, I have that song on my phone. It's my 4th of July song.
I had to bring that up. That is such a funny coincidence.
Yeah, I didn't realize they worked on that movie.
Yeah, and Nick, if you don't know this, Pinata Survival Island is one of the worst horror films I've ever seen in my life.
It sounds like it.
Because
it's terrible.
It's terrible. They're like, okay, just to give you a brief summary. It's where some college kids are like doing a competition on the island involving hidden pinatas to collect like these garments, like whoever had the most wins. And they come across a ancient pinata that looks like a demon, and it's made out of clay and is possessed by evil. So they try breaking it open, and it goes on a rampage, just beating people to death.
What?
Yeah. I cannot make this up if I tried.
Oh my God.
This is literally something that would come from the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah, the only reason why I know about this film is because I saw it on AMC. Like they used to, how they used to have Fear Friday showing like horror films on Friday nights.
Oh yes, I remember those days.
Yeah, that's how I know about it. So yeah, worst horror film, not worth seeing.
Gollum, Pinata of Doom.
Oh, but anyway, back to Killer Klowns. So
okay,
Killer Klowns.
Killer Klowns. This here is really cool. This particular tie-in is that Killer Klowns is directly related to Ernest Scared Stupid. I don't know if you know this, Nick, or not.
No, I don't.
There are two clowns from the Killer Clown movie. They took the mask and modified it slightly and used them for the trolls in Ernest Scared Stupid.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, they did.
One of them. Do you remember the one where the one troll was hitting another at the back of the head and it was spitting out bullets?
I think I remember that.
Oh my God!
That's one of them. The one that was spitting out the bullets was one of them, and the other one was in the treehouse going after one of the kids, and he gets sprayed with milk.
Oh yeah, that was their weakness.
See, I can't really remember. I mean, I haven't seen that many of the Ernest movies, but if I did see it, that must have been probably back literally in the late 90s. So it's been probably about 25 years since I've seen them. So I probably would remember it, but it's been so long.
It was really something else, because I remember the very first time I saw Ernest Scared Stupid, right after it came out, I caught that one clown, the one that was spitting out bullets. I'm like, that's a killer clown. I didn't notice the other one, but that one I noticed right off the bat.
That's pretty impressive. I did not know that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Angelo says, I just watched this movie Killer Klowns From Outer Space just once. I don't think I ever want to watch it again.
What?
Hey, let's not poke fun here. I mean, clowns do tend to freak a lot of people out, especially Pennywise. as we all know.
Yeah.
Pennywise the dancing clown.
Well, I have had a lot of people say that this movie here is the reason why they don't like clowns.
Wow.
Oh, he's mentioning about the Ernest movies. I haven't seen them all.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
I have been watching several of on YouTube. I've been watching several of the movie react channels, and they have been doing this movie.
Both
one of them said that this movie is so bad it's great. Another one just was laughing throughout the whole thing because, as ridiculous as it is, it came across so well in the movie. And one thing you have to admit, they did really good when it came to doing the set in the tent, the spaceship.
Oh yeah. I love the set design of the spaceship. As like as insanely ridiculous as it looks, I could tell like a lot of good work went into it. Like just about everything, really everything that these clowns do, they had like the whole circus theme to it is just outrageously funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just having guns that fire popcorn, like popcorn as a weapon, like that's the kind of thing I cannot like.
There was one where, well, not only did the popcorn was used as a weapon, they also turned into those clown-headed snake things. Whatever the hell those things.
Yeah, they're the infant snakes.
The infant snakes, yeah.
I'm sorry, infant clowns. That popcorn gun was the most expensive prop they made for that movie.
I imagine.
Wow, I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Well, you would think that with some of the other stuff that they had that they would cost a lot of money. Well, that popcorn gun, because they actually used it to be functional, they actually shot popcorn out of that gun, and that gun cost him $7,000 to make.
$7,000.
Yeah, it cost him $7,000 to make it, and I want to say it took him 2 months to make it.
Wow.
So that's the one prop where a lot of work went into. Nice.
That's quite the amount. Like, whoa.
It is. Oh, yeah. And the entire movie was made on a $2 million budget.
Yep. Yeah, $2 million.
Which is actually a little bit. I mean, which I would have expected. That probably would have been the kind of budget for such a film like that, especially at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$2 million right now wouldn't make a 15-minute short movie, right?
Oh, not at all.
Not with the stuff that they did.
Right.
Oh yeah, $2 million for production, and also having to get the Dickies on board to play that that crazy, awesome theme song.
I'll tell you one thing. I have that. I mean, Jeremy, I think I probably told you this before too, because I'll be listening to it real soon. I have it all. I have that theme song on my Halloween music list.
I have the entire soundtrack.
I have that song too.
Oh, wow. We all have it.
Yeah, I have the entire musical score for that movie on CD, and it's
there. I just love this comment. Like,
I love this one, Robert. $7,000 for a popcorn.
I don't think potatoes and the clowns would have gone well together.
Yeah,
well, that's true. That is true. Yeah. Unless they are Irish. Unless they are Irish boys.
Yeah, the potato guns are more for law enforcement than they are for killer clowns.
Yeah. Just got the pictures that Brad was talking about, the comparison photo. Oh yeah, the comparison photos of the trolls and clowns. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I gotta say.
Now I see you know what? Now I see the resemblance of this.
I can see it. Yeah. I totally see the resemblance now. I wish I could display it from my phone out of here, but yeah. There's a.
I was going to say I could probably just share the screen on, so that way everybody can see it.
Yeah. What's really funny about the Dickies, the way that they did it, is that they did not see this movie at all when they created the sound, when they when he created the song. Leonard Phillips, the frontman for the band, is the one who wrote the song. He did not see the film. He just only knew the title and just worked off of that.
Oh,
and the way that he did that song really was brilliant. And not just the lyrics, but the way that he did the music, because when it gets to the guitar solo, there's a part in there where it almost sounds like the guitar is actually talking to you.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it kind of does when you think about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
it was only recently I found out. I kind of started noticing that.
Oh yeah, like when I listened to the song, recently, like for preparation for this, like I did notice a few things like that in that, which I didn't realize before. But yeah, like as for what you were saying about how the Dickies wrote that song without having seen the movie, I mean, it's not the only time where musicians do a song without seeing the film. I mean, when the Ramones did the song for Pet Sematary, they didn't see the film first. Yeah, they didn't see it first. They just wrote the song based on the.
It seems like it was a tradition for the bands to not actually see the films. Well,
for the most part, they wrote the song based on the lyrics based on what happened in the story. They obviously read the book.
Right.
Well, when you think about it, sometimes it's better to not see the film to write the song, because then it would be completely different. Whereas you're trying to cater the song to the movie. This time you're just creating it just based off of the title, based off of the atmosphere that title puts off.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Right.
Yeah. So had Leonard watched the movie, the song that we have now would not be anywhere near as good as it is.
Yeah. I totally agree with you on that.
I believe
it. I wanted to bring up this. Angela was saying the acid pies creep me out and how it killed their victims. Yeah, it's like they all surround on like a security guard when they're going back to the ship. Surround a security guard with pies. Just it's like doesn't seem like that much of a threat, right? Well, when they hit him and take him down, and then you see the skeletal arm sticking out, and when the other characters find him, it's like, wow. Okay, then.
Well, if you get hit with 50 pies, you're going to go down anyway, whether if it's accident or not.
I was going to say that's probably going to hurt and become kind of overwhelming after a while.
Yeah.
But this raises the one question though: the three characters, Mike and Debbie and Dave, when they look around thinking, is it all over? Sure, and why not? And when they say that, then you see the pies drop down on them. I'm like, so does this mean they're gonna die too? What the hell is this?
Yeah, no,
think it was obviously to act as somewhat of a precursor to have a sequel.
So, well, I don't think they're going to be in the sequel now because they just got hit with acid pies. So
unless they wiped it away really quickly.
Actually, the way that the Chiodo brothers are wanting to do it is that at least Mike is going to be in the sequel if they ever make it. Because they already have the premise of it and already talked about it, that it's going to be many, many years after the clowns have been killed, that there's going to be a second wave coming. And Mike is now the town drunk, and he's trying to warn everybody, hey, clowns are coming.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They have been trying to make this sequel for 30 years.
Yeah, I was about to say, they've been trying to get this
5 years now.
Yeah, they've been trying to get this off the ground for decades. I
mean, they already had a title, obviously, which was going to be called The Return of the Killer Klowns from Outer Space, or Killer Klowns in 3D. Correct? Yeah, or 3D. Yep.
Yeah, because apparently 3D makes everything better.
No, I don't.
No, it does not. I hate 3D.
I hope by now they realize that doesn't work, and they just stick with Return of the Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Yeah, I've been telling you guys. I've been telling you guys before. To me, 3D is just a cheap gimmick that doesn't really add much to the film.
Right.
And but I will say, as far as continuing on with the Killer Klowns, they're actually somebody probably already know this, but there was a reveal trailer for the new video game Killer Klowns from Outer Space, the game, which is going to be released in 2023 onto like PlayStation 5 and Steam. So yeah, apparently it's made by the same guys who worked on the Friday the 13th game. They made it. So
Yeah, I've already sent Nick the link to it last week. And he found the game on Steam already.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Don, the game is on Steam, so we can purchase it there and play it.
Yeah,
I think it's to pre-order. I don't think the game is officially out yet.
Well, no,
it's coming out sometime next year.
Yeah, it's not available yet. They're just like any games that they have like any upcoming games that they're gonna have on Steam. They'll usually send out, that advertisement, and they usually will have like, maybe a trailer for it, but until it's actually completed, there's no way you could buy or rent it. So it would have all their
right now. They have a thing for beta players to play the beta game to test it out. I've already signed up for it.
Well, as of right now, they say the release date for the game, it's not until sometime. They say it's going to be somewhere in early 2023. Which would make kind of sense because next year will be the 35th anniversary of the original Killer Klowns film.
That's why they're doing it.
They're probably not only taking their time making it, but also they're waiting on a specific day. I don't know if it's going to be the actual day like when the original film was released, but they're going to have it somewhere along the anniversary of the original film.
Yeah, that's why
I have a feeling that there is going to be a sequel greenlit soon because just in the last 5 years, Killer Klowns has exploded, but previously there's hardly any mention of it except for the fans of the cult. But just in the last 5 years, it's exploded because one, these weren't around,
right?
These weren't around, so obviously they must have a huge licensing deal. Because they have these things in the Funko Pops. You got the mask here. Spirit Halloween now has a section devoted strictly to these clowns.
There is.
They have the mask.
Oh my God.
The Funko Pops. They also have, those little animatronics that they have for Christmas where they just kind of do this kind of.
Yep.
They have that for some of the clowns too. What else do they have? They just recently came out with the Blu-ray version of Killer Klowns just in the last 4 years.
Yeah, that's why this film is bigger than ever now because it's being marketed. Merchandising and now Blu-ray releases and like right now
and Universal Studios.
Yeah, I was gonna say I decided to look it up. And it says here now, you tell me, Jeremy, apparently they say a short film was released. Is that from
there was, and that was it was to promote something.
It was for the Halloween Horror Nights.
Yes, yeah, that's it. So again, so with all of this, now you got money coming in from all this marketing, all this all the sales from this stuff. Now they are going to be able to build a overhead to make a second movie.
It's so funny. I looked up, I was reading some of what I found on this article, and everything we've talked about is on this website. It talks about, like, we were talking about Ernest Scared Stupid, where to spot the killer clowns. And then, how it was only made for $2 million. And then also, and the advertising of it with the clowns and Spirit Halloween. That is so funny. I came across that.
Yeah, I was just at Spirit of Halloween yesterday. Man, I
wasn't invited.
Hey, I didn't want to be around too many people because I was
I know.
I was still trying to make sure I was not still sick from COVID. So
I know.
I went to the store, wore a mask. Hey, I'm not going to risk exposing my friends to it. So
we'll make a visit.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, anyway, one just opened up near me. I went over there and saw the merchandise, like several props. Like there was like this this statue of like one of the two popcorn killer clowns inside of a popcorn bin. Yeah, they have that there. Yeah, they actually have that there. But it's pretty like it's like about $60-$70 if I remember correctly. So
wow,
yep. So Nick, if you're planning on getting it, it's not going to be cheap.
I don't think I'll be able to afford it.
DeadCon last year, when we had DeadCon, there were many vendors that were selling Killer Clown stuff. That's where I got these two at.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
And this one here is cool because it has all of the essential clowns that were featured in the movie.
Oh, including Shorty, my favorite.
Yep.
Rudy
really
is
quickly,
mine.
just to give a shout out from my personal page, Scott Smith was watching.
Hey, Scott.
Joshua Dill was watching. Good to see Josh. And now just Lorianne is watching. Once again,
And
for those
Anita
who are
has just joined us as well.
Who?
Anita?
Yeah, Anita. Yeah, I already said. No, I'm just only just reading from the personal chat. So once again, everyone who's watching from our personal profiles, come over to the Things Network page so we can see your comments.
Yep. Usually Anita is showing up on the Facebook user, so
she's lucky this time.
Yeah. Is the movie on any streaming services? I think they are.
It's on Pluto TV. It's on Pluto TV.
Okay.
Robert White, Jason has been wearing a mask before it was mandatory.
Yep.
Oh, is this what you were answering?
Yes, I was answering Brad. Yeah, it is on a stream service. I saw it recently listed on I think it was Pluto TV.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
I would have figured Pluto TV or Tubi TV.
Yeah, it was on HBO Max until very recently. I think they took it off of there.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, like what I love about this movie, how it's overall just a parody of like alien invasion films. Like you look at War of the Worlds, you look at Earth vs. the Flying Saucers, like all those different kinds of movies where aliens just want to destroy mankind. Well, with the exception of one, which was the day the Earth stood still, where the alien wanted to just save mankind from itself. So it had a powerful message to it.
And I just want
to say it was very heavily influenced by the Blob.
Yeah, a lot of
yes.
especially a lot. There's a very 50s vibe to it because of those movies that were made from that era, even though this was in the late 80s. But you could tell it was obviously paying tribute to movies from that era in a way.
Oh yeah.
And also I just want to shout out for Brad. Yes, I actually did look it up. Killer Klowns from Outer Space is also on Tubi TV. So that's practically usually free to watch, so you should be able to see it there too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
When they came up with this movie, the original title was just going to be plain Killer Klowns, but they later added on From Outer Space because they did not want Killer Klowns to be thought of as a slasher movie like most of the others. So they made the title as it was so that people will understand exactly what kind of movie they'll be looking at.
Yeah. Which does make a lot of sense.
Yes. Also, are you familiar with an actor named Soupy Sales?
I feel like I've heard of that name before, but I'm not fully sure.
He was like a clown who was famous for taking pies in the face back in the day. Well, they initially wanted him to be the security guard that took the pies.
Really?
Yeah, as a cameo. But they ended up not doing it because he was later in his years. He's like in his 60s, I think, by the time they started filming this thing. So they were worried that people would not recognize him. So that's why they didn't use him. But they initially wanted to use him for that pie scene.
But again, another thing that would kind of make sense in a way. So I could sure understand where they'd be coming from with that.
Yeah. Otherwise, the biggest name that they have in that movie is John Vernon.
Yeah. I wanted to point something else
John
out.
Vernon.
There was something else I wanted to point out too when you mentioned about how they made this film to kind of distance itself from a lot of the other horror films, which were mostly slasher films from that era. If you kind of think about it, just a year, it was obviously a good thing that they did, because within a year, 1989, then saw the release of an actual clown slasher film, which was Clown House, who was directed by Victor Salva. Yeah, that was a film it's basically considered one of the last slasher movies of the 1980s that was made. And of course, unlike Killer Klowns from Outer Space, it is meant to be a slasher film. Although, ironically enough, the film was directed by Victor Salva, who later directed the Jeepers Creepers films. But
yeah, that's how I know that film.
yeah,
now I know why that.
There was quite some
that's
controversy that occurred that landed him with a pretty bad future.
Oh, dude, I cannot stand Victor Salva. Cannot, because you're obviously familiar with his past name, right?
Yes, I am.
It's like I used to like his movies because I like Jeepers Creepers. I was like, oh, okay, some good creature, monster films here. But then when I got older, I found out about Victor Salva, that it turns out he's actually a convicted pedophile. He was having relations with a child actor from that film Clown House.
Yeah,
and he only got 13 months. After, crazy. To me,
I mean, I've seen Clown House. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong, but there's a real dark side to that film. The reality.
I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a good. Like I said, it is a good film, but I mean, nothing disturbing happens. It was just behind the scenes that this all occurred. But there is truly a dark side to it, and in spite of his status to the point where he shouldn't have even made movies, he actually went on to go make Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, and Jeepers Creepers is a great series. I know a lot of people are really harping on Jeepers Creepers 3.
I hated Jeepers Creepers 3.
I never saw the third one. I only saw the first two.
Well, what it is, in chronological order, Jeepers Creepers 3 actually falls in between 1 and 2.
Hey, what's up, Diana? Good to see you here.
Hello.
Diana. In case you don't know, Diana May is who Jeremy and I interviewed last Friday on 13th Dimension.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was a really good interview.
Oh, it was good. It was really good.
Yeah, I had to let her know as soon as I put that episode on Spotify.
About Jeepers Creepers, to me, knowing Victor Salva's past, I look at Jeepers Creepers as somewhat of a autobiography. I mean, think about it. It's about a film where a monster is targeting the young, and just like Victor Salva did.
In a way, yes, but at the same time, it's just continuing on the tradition of how horror films, are often usually made, kind of in the slasher craze. But with this movie Clown House that he made, I mean, in spite of what happened, this was obviously long before Victor Salva ever had the idea of doing the Jeepers Creepers, because the first one obviously didn't come out until 2001. This was back in 1989 that Clown House was made. It's that movie.
Have a big thing of popcorn with you, Brad.
Well, and the thing is, Jeremy, about Clown House, that movie, much like Killer Clowns, really does focus on the fear of clowns because it deals with kids in the film, and one of the kids has the phobia of clowns.
I'll have to see if I can find that movie, because I enjoy clown movies.
You might like this one, but at least we forewarned you that there was quite a dark side too behind the scenes.
I know. I'm fully aware of the director and all of that.
Yeah,
I'm fully aware of that.
Aside from that, though, it's a good film. To me, I think, again, at least for me, I thought it was the perfect way to kind of end the slasher craze of the 80s. Brad, it was a movie called Clown House. It came out after a year after Killer Klowns From Outer Space. 1989 was directed by Victor Salva, who later directed the Jeepers Creepers films, but is also a convicted sex offender.
Yep. Which is why I feel very iffy about seeing Clown House, and I do not want to cover, I feel very iffy about covering Jeepers Creepers movies on this podcast, because the man who decided to go out and do a sick thing like that.
Yeah.
Can't stand people like that. Cannot.
She'll do the same later after Greg's Ghost Box with Alien.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier about John Vernon. He was probably the biggest name in Killer Klowns From Outer Space, because I am familiar with...
He is the biggest name because nobody else is really known.
Yeah, because I remember he played the Dean Warmer in Animal House, where he basically was... the dean who really had some beef with youth culture, and he pretty much does the same thing in this film.
He does. He does.
Except he takes it a step further, because he plays a brutal cop who has issue with teens, with their partying, and also with their appearance, calling them punks. which I gotta say,
his own coworker.
Yeah, and I gotta say that is one of the biggest problems I see in the world. People who just judge others just negatively just based on appearance itself. It's like, sure, I mean, look at me. I wear a Metallica shirt. I have spiked hair. Does everybody do that? No, but does that mean I'm a punk? Of course not.
What I love about John Vernon is because what I also liked about him, not only was he good, at least I thought he was good in Killer Klowns, but he was also in another movie that came out in the late 80s. I think not far around the same time. It wasn't a horror film. It wasn't a horror. What's that?
I got to do this. Jill is asking us to conjure a killer clown.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Wish granted, Jill.
That's it. See you next time.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Go ahead. Sorry, I had to do that. Go ahead, Nick.
That's fine. No, what I was going to say was what I love about John Vernon was that I saw him. You know, not only was he good in Killer Klowns, but he was also in another film that came out, I think that same year. It wasn't a horror film. It was I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, where he appears near the end. You never seen that movie, Don?
I never heard of that one.
It's basically a parody of blaxploitation films. It's a comedy. Don, I'm surprised you of all people haven't seen it because it's got some of the like biggest names, like, you know, African American actors from that movie.
Well, I mean, Nick, I've familiarized myself with thousands of films over the years, and every once in a while there's a film that it does not fall on my radar until later years, and this is one. That's one of them.
Well, this is one that you got to see because not only John Vernon, it's got a whole bunch of different actors. Isaac Hayes is in it.
Isaac Hayes. Oh, Chef.
Yeah, Isaac Hayes is in it, and also a young and then unknown Chris Rock.
Huh. Okay.
It's like probably his first movie ever. He was like in his early 20s when he did it, but John Vernon is also in it too. But I'm not going to say what role he plays, but he's just as good as in that movie as he is in Killer. And this film, it's supposed to be funny too. Again, it's a parody of blaxploitation films.
Well, this here is John Vernon's worst nightmare. Because that's the clown that gets him.
Yep.
And John, he has the two best lines in that entire movie.
Yeah.
The first one is in the scene where Mike and Debbie are trying to tell Dave about what's going on. He comes out and whistles, "Killer Klowns from Outer Space." Holy shit. He says that.
The title. Yep.
Then at the end of that particular scene, he says, "Make a dummy out of yourself, but you're not going to make a dummy out of me."
Yeah.
Foreshadowing him in the ass later on in the movie.
The irony of that.
Yeah.
I know.
That's so funny.
It is. And he did his part so well. He's probably, acting wise, probably the best out of all of them.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah, because one, he was believable in his role, the way that he did it. It wasn't it wasn't necessarily overacting like you see on a lot of the others in this film, and he carried it so well for his part.
Yeah, that he did. You know,
absolutely. I definitely believe that in a way because you know, there's always going to be obviously like that one actor that is known to basically be really good with what he does in a particular film. So I definitely agree with that.
And he was that. Otherwise, the acting throughout the rest of the movie is terrible. I'm going to tell you, it's terrible. Yeah. I have said this numerous times. It is a terrible movie, terrible acting. Even some of the editing. In the movie, some of the editing, which you don't see on the DVD version.
No, you don't.
You have to see this on the VHS version. For example, the part where the baby clown that's coming out of the toilet and comes after her.
Yeah.
In the letterbox version, everything comes out just fine. But on the VHS, where it's full screen, you actually see the man's arm underneath
awesome.
the scaly part. You actually see his arm coming out. Yeah.
Robert, I love Robert's acting. What acting?
There's acting, Robert. Trust me on.
Nobody ever talks about Dark Tower and its dark intricacies.
Well, there was one other familiar face in that film. It was the actress who played Brenda. What was her name? Suzanne.
Oh, that was
Snyder. I did see her in one other film. It was she played Brenda in Return of the Living Dead Part 2.
That's right. Right.
There, she was like the one that just kept on freaking out.
Snyder?
Yeah, Suzanne Snyder. Yeah.
Yeah, Debbie.
Yeah, she was Debbie in this film.
Yeah.
But and I was gonna say though, as far as characters go, the two of the most ridiculous characters of the entire film were the Terenzi brothers.
They had to be the goofiest characters out of that entire movie.
Yeah, like they make it obvious right off the bat that these two are a couple of nutcases. I mean, they're driving around.
To be taken seriously.
They're driving around in an ice cream truck, trying to advertise and pro their business, giving out ice cream at nighttime. I'm like, oh, who the hell does
and
that?
Not only that, throwing in sexual innuendos into their ice cream advertisement.
Exactly.
And everybody's favorite frozen delight, the liquor stick.
Yeah, they're doing this at like makeout point where like all the teenagers are in their cars, like sunken faces, and then they're just like, cool off those hot lips with one of our fruity bars. I'm like, like who gives out ice cream at night? Seriously, who? Seriously. I can't think of one time where I've ever seen anybody do that in real life at all.
Yeah, I have yet to have seen
that. Because if they did, they would be shot.
Oh yeah, in this day and age, and also, you know what?
Especially
if I
in
ever
this city,
see something like that at night, I'm just gonna basically say no comments.
Well, there's a lot of no comments in this movie.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. Jill wants it at night.
Jill, trust me, the Terenzi brothers are not the ones you want to get your ice cream from.
Okay, if I want ice cream at night,
there was one person who trusted. At least there was one person who trusted them. Obviously because he was best friends with them. Was main character Mike.
Yeah.
Yes, Jill, you would be.
No, if I want ice cream at night, here's what I would do. I'm going to demonstrate. Here's what I do if I want ice cream at night. Hold on.
Yeah, my nightmares, scary creatures.
He goes to his freezer and get the ice cream. That's what you do if you want ice cream at night. Just go to your freezer.
I go to my freezer and pull this out. Simple, very simple.
Yeah, and now he's got to go put it back in his freezer.
He's got to go put it back. Yep. Well, wait. He forgot to bring a spoon with.
Well, unless he wants to go ahead and eat ice cream on the show, I've already ate. So Nick, why don't you bring out the popcorn?
I know. I just had dinner. I don't want ice cream.
I just had dinner right before the show too.
Yep.
Actually, like just well over an hour ago.
Brad, who needs a spoon?
I do.
No, I was bringing it up as you were walking away. So you forgot to bring a spoon with you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some of the innovative kills that they had in this movie.
Yes.
Now this one, there's two I want to bring up because these two are the most impactful in the movie. The first one is the one that shows the audience, oh, these clowns mean business, and that was where. No comment.
No comment.
Yeah, and that was where Shorty is riding his little bicycle, and he runs into this gang.
Oh,
and the guy he's like, "Can I take a ride? Can I beat the home? And then he just completely smashes that thing.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Shorty in the clown. Shorty, my favorite clown in the entire film.
You feel bad, but you know he's going to fight back immediately.
Yeah, I mean, he makes
he fights back, and he comes back, and he's ready to box. Yeah. And you can tell this guy's asking for it. So you're rooting for the clown.
Yep. Go Rocky Balboa on him.
Yeah. Oh no, he straight up went Drago on him. He went Drago on him.
He did.
Balboa.
Boosh, uppercut.
Yeah.
So strong, takes his head off.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's like a Mortal Kombat. It was like a Mortal Kombat fatality. That's what that was.
It was. And
Yeah,
when you think about it, if you look at that particular frame, the way that he comes up to hit his house looks like one of them rock'em socket puppets. It did.
It does.
It looks like, rock'em socket. Boom. Just like that. And that particular scene, when he knocks his head off, to me, that was the moment that the audience realized, okay, these clowns are not joking around. They're really coming to kill.
They're here to kill.
Even though there's already been some scenes where they put the people in the cotton candy cocoons.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. That was probably, actually, now that I think about it, that was probably like the only death out of the entire film that actually was, if you want to use the term, you was using gore, because it was knocking literally someone's head off.
Oh yeah,
because all the other ones were comedic, and either was revolving around animation fatality, or certain scenes.
Well, the other one was not necessarily. It starts out comedic, and then it wasn't quite as funny, even though to the audience maybe it was. But still, one of the coolest kills you'll ever see, and that was where Slim is doing his shadow puppets.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
I was thinking of that. I was thinking of. Oh man, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about the puppet show that one of them did, like where a guy puppet, girl puppet, and shoots the girl puppet, pulls out a gun. Girl puppet pulls out of the gun, shoots him, and then the clown pops up, holding the gun, pointing the cotton candy gun at him, the audience member, and turning him cotton candy, and delivers like one of those terrifying laughs that these clowns do. One of the main things I'll never forget is those laughs.
Oh yeah, he had the worst. Well, no comment, I don't want to say the worst. He probably had the scariest laugh out of all of them clowns.
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, Shorty did have do that laugh right after he punched the guy's head off. But I do agree. But the puppet, but Spike, the puppet guy, he hit that clown definitely had the scariest laugh, no doubt.
Yeah, because Shorty's sounded still much like a kid.
Yeah, probably the younger of them.
Yeah. Whereas Spikey, he's one of the biggest clowns.
Yeah, it's the sounds, regardless, definitely do have that. It's like this weird, almost inhuman sound that they produce, like whenever they make any type of noise or even laugh. And that really goes to show you that, these are not your specific clowns. There's something, whether they're extraterrestrial or not, there's something unearthly about them.
Yeah, you could almost say demonic.
In a way, yes, because you could tell they may look like they are, but you could tell that they're not really human because quite clearly it shows that these are not like your typical human clowns at all, because no human could make that type of sound.
Slim was another one who had not exactly the scariest laugh, but an unnerving kind of laugh. Especially the scene where he runs the guy off the bridge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that scene. Yeah, like I heard
that scene was originally supposed to be part of the opening for this movie.
This conversation about ice cream is still going on in the chat between Brad and Jill.
My bad.
Stop it with the ice cream. You need to move on to popcorn. Extra butter too. But that whole drive-in scene, that was supposed to be part of the original opening of the show.
I didn't know that, to be honest. That's a new thing.
Because the driver, the human driver, was in a makeout scene with this girl, and something happens between the two, and he kicks her out, and he takes off.
Oh wow!
And
just bitches and girls.
That's where you see Slim riding right there along beside him, and to the point where it knocks him off the bridge. That was supposed to be the opening of the film, but when they had everything all together, it just didn't fit right or feel right. So they moved it like a half hour, 40 minutes later into it.
After the 40-minute mark, you see
it. Somewhere around that. I heard that the scene, the way the car crashed, wasn't the way they wanted it, but they couldn't redo it again because they didn't have the money for it.
Yeah, because they wanted that car to go flying off of that thing. But the problem is, when you look at the behind the scenes video, you could still see the headlight as it's getting ready to start up. So this car did not have any room at all to build up the speed to go flying off of that bridge.
Which would make a lot of sense. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But even though it didn't quite work the way that they wanted it to, I thought the way that it did occur still worked out.
Oh yeah. Like it definitely was a fairly good stunt, regardless. You know, even if it didn't go 100% according to plan. Yeah. Like I wanted to say one more thing about John Vernon's performance as Officer Mooney. Like it's like even after like everything that's going on with the clowns invading, you know, he's getting all these phone calls, but he just comes up with the idea that the whole town is conspiring against him. It's like really, how delusional could you possibly be? I tell you, like he did a great job playing on
that's just your old fashioned kind of sheriff.
Yeah, and then when he finally
if you think about it, let's go to Needful Things, the movie,
right?
What's that guy's name? Gaunt,
yeah.
Okay, so when you think about it, he turned the entire town against each other by himself.
Yeah, pretty much.
So just based off of that, why would it be impossible for the Terenzi brothers, who are trying to sell ice cream at night, everybody that they sell ice cream to, hey, want to play a prank?
Yeah, it's just
it's improbable, but not impossible.
Right.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
Joe.
Go to Facebook jail. Nice talking to you, for me.
It
was great talking to you. Don't eat.
God.
Seriously, what does Brad have against ice cream?
They've been still talking about
she's
it.
Talking about because she said take out Brad. No, Joe, you're not going to go to jail just for those specific words, so you're good.
Yeah. Hey,
unless there's something she said earlier on that I didn't see.
Yeah. Hopefully the Terenzi brothers are riding around. They'll get you the ice cream.
Yeah. Now,
see, I'm just thinking about how that would seem in real life. That would look super sketchy, like an ice cream truck just driving around at night.
and especially advertising the way that they did.
Yeah, that was.
I forget the first part of the rhyme that they did, but in the second part of the rhyme, it's while you get an ice cream while you screw or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
I don't remember the one that I remember the most is the fruity frozen bars. Icy, Wicey.
It's been a long time.
And then the liquor stick.
They had all these crazy names.
Yeah, they did.
You got a stick, you give it a lick, something like that. And I'm just like, really, guys?
Right. And you just can't help but feel bad for the two girls they had in the back of that truck.
Yeah, like they're being dragged into all this. They're crazy stalking of teenagers, trying to give out ice cream.
Don, I forgot to tell you, Dawn Mary was interested in joining. What's up, Dawn? Good to see you.
Hello, Dawn.
Do you know about this movie we're talking about?
Killer Klowns From Outer Space.
Yep, one of the goofiest
horror films for an education.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I tell you right now, Dawn, this is one of the goofiest horror films you will ever see. I mean, it's basically a parody of like the whole alien invasion aspect of sci-fi films. But it's where there's aliens that just look like clowns and are attacking a small town using like a circus, like referential kind of weapons, like cocooning people in cotton candy and shooting popcorn at them. Oh yeah, that's what the clowns look like.
I don't like clowns.
Yeah, well, And,
is that the?
This is probably not a show you want to be on.
But I will tell you, Dawn,
I'm deathly afraid of clowns.
I will tell you, Dawn, one of the biggest things I always remember about this film is the title song performed by the Dickies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
as if this movie didn't have enough sexual innuendos.
I love what Jill just said. She said,
"Hi, Jill.
We'll have a watch party for Killer Klowns."
Hey, I'm good with that. Jill, come on over. I am good with that. I got a nice big screen TV. We'll put Killer Klowns on there. We'll just have a big old party, big tub of popcorn. Just throw them at each other and just pray like hell that they turn into little clowns.
I mean, you're only 3.5 hours away, so
hey, you bring the popcorn. I'll bring the ice cream.
I'm a little bit further away.
Cotton candy.
You bring the cotton candy, Nick.
Another thing about the Terenzi brothers, this here is where, you know, even in the ridiculousness of it all, they're at the very end of the film where they come across the real JoJo, and JoJo busts that clown that's sitting on top of the truck, and he starts banging on him, and then he picks up that truck and heaves it across the tent.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they call him, but JoJo is his real name.
Oh yeah.
And believe it or not, all of these clowns have names.
Yep.
And I'll get to those here in a little bit. But when JoJo heaves that truck to the other side of the tent, the entire truck explodes. There is no way in hell anybody would have survived it, but those brothers did because they hid in the ice cream freezer.
Yeah, like that's just ridiculous.
That just seems ridiculous.
Well, it was in the script.
Sorry, what, Don?
It was in the script.
Yeah. In a way, but it just seems kind of impossible. Even if that did happen in reality, it would be kind of impossible to actually survive even in the ice cooler.
Right.
Yeah.
And also how Dave even survived, because one, where was that car? That car had to have been very, very close for him and those brothers to get into after JoJo explodes.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like so there's some moments in this movie where it just raises questions, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it goes a little bit against the laws of physics in a way.
This film defies physics. Like
a lot of alien movies do defy physics.
No, this is what
you know what? That is a perfect example right there. Indiana Jones should have died.
He should have had every bone in his body broken just from being in that fridge and having it rolled down a hill.
Every bone in his body should have shattered.
Yes. I've been telling
that movie should not have gone on any more than 15 minutes because Indiana Jones is dead.
I've been telling people that for almost 15 years now since that film was released.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But anyway, it does. The movie did raise a lot of questions that were not answered based off of how they did things. But there were a lot of things that were left unanswered in terms of where did they come from? Why are they here? Did they really just stop here for a bite to eat? Which, theoretically, the answer is yes.
Yeah, because they were cooking people and then feeding on them. So, yeah, that's their intention.
Yeah, and watching the movie reaction channels when they were doing this, the one thing there were two things that they kept going back to throughout the entire thing is why popcorn and what's the purpose of the cotton candy? And it wasn't until the bathroom scene where, that's what the popcorn is for. And then when, believe it or not, his name is Fatso, the one that was drinking the blood from the one cotton candy, that's where you understand what the whole purpose of the cotton candy cocoons.
And
I know, John. This is.
I should have made this earlier. I mean,
I know exactly what you're thinking. What the hell did I just walk into?
blood, cotton candy, popcorn, explosions.
Well, okay, so the thing about the popcorn here is that when they start popping, they turn into baby clowns.
They're like eggs almost.
So now
Yeah.
we know how the clowns reproduce. They're through popcorn. That's where they come from.
Yeah, because in the entire ship, you have 30, 40 male clowns and 2 female clowns.
Yeah. I thought it was like a weird how they just threw in the female clowns just because the Terenzi brothers were there, because they tagged along with Mike to go get Debbie back, and said, "Oh, you got to help us get Debbie, like because Debbie has 2 roommates that are super hot." And so so naturally, when the Terenzis come across the female clowns, they're just like, "Are you?" They're like, "Are you Debbie's roommates?" I'm like, and they also caught when they're seen again after that, they show with lipstick marks all over them, and I'm just thinking, okay, I don't want to know what just happened.
I know that.
Do not want to know. Okay, spare me the mental image.
Lovely.
Yeah. But if you think the popcorn and stuff, killing people with cotton candy and popcorn's crazy, there was also a scene we were just talking about where the shorty, the little clown, punches the guy's head off because it was a guy who was in a biker gang and smashed up Shorty's bike. So that's like the one part where I actually felt sorry for the clown, because they were making these crying noises and just went, Mortal Kombat, punching a guy's head off. And
it's one of those scenes where you're rooting for the bad guy.
Yeah. And then there was one scene where one of the clowns, Slim, was putting on a puppet show for a crowd of people. It seems completely innocent at first, but then he creates a puppet of a T-Rex, and then that shadow eats the people. Yeah. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
This movie just sounds like B-rated, but kind of interesting.
It's definitely a B movie from 1988.
Yeah.
It is a throwback to a lot of the 50s classics, heavily influenced, particularly by the Blob.
Yeah. Yeah, it's intentionally silly.
Yeah. It is the best comedy horror film. Yeah. And that scene with the shadow puppets, that was where it got real for the characters in the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is like one of the best horror comedies. I mean, it's right up there with Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Let's see, Army of Darkness. I love those films. But yeah, this, as far as horror comedy, this is definitely up there somewhere.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of people out there that rate this a top 5 horror comedy movie.
Oh yes. Yeah, like I first saw this film, like I believe I first saw it on when I was watching an episode of Svengoolie when I was 16. This was like way back. Yeah, like he showed this film and I was like, okay, like I'm wondering what this is. I watched that like just completely in disbelief by the absurdity of it all.
And the way that I came across this movie, it was in 1990. I was only 10 years old, maybe, and we were going to a video rental place called Stars and Stripes Video, which I think was just a locally owned store.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, so it was probably just locally owned. The building is still there, and I was just walking around in the back, and then all of a sudden I see this VHS cover where it's like you got the clown's arm, and it's got the earth spinning on his finger like a basketball.
Yeah,
and that got my attention before even the title did. And I look at it, and I'm looking at the back of this, and I'm like, Mom, I think I want to see this movie. And we get it. And the first time I seen it, it scared the shit out of me. And it's like, I need to see this movie again.
What movie are we still? Is this Killer Clowns you're still talking about?
Oh yeah, he's talking about.
It's how I found it.
Oh, okay.
So I was I'll explain it again for you, Nick. My mom and I were at a local video store, not one of the big chain ones, but this one here is just called Stars and Stripes Video. And I was at the back of the store, and I come across the VHS cover of what looked like a clown's arm from about here on. He has his finger like this, and you got the globe spinning on his finger like a basketball.
Huh?
Oh,
And that image caught my attention before even the title did. And I pick it up, I'm looking at the back of it, and I'm telling my mom, hey, I want to see this.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And ever since then, it's been my all-time favorite movie.
And when you think about it too, I mean, the way how I've seen it, Don, you tell me if you did the same thing too, because the first time I actually saw Killer Klowns was back when I was in high school, and it was obviously where they broadcast it could have been a better place. Sven Gulli often did show the movie, so because there weren't as many websites or platforms that could really show movies at that time, the fact that Sven Gulli showed it on his show, that was like bingo. I'm like, oh boy, here we go. So
that's how I saw it. Sven Gulli.
Saw it too on Sven Gulli.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
Brad,
I'm going to try to show this as well as I can. So this clown right here is my favorite. His name is Rudy.
Rudy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's the one that goes to that drugstore and does this bit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because they had another
He's
animatronic.
the one that shot the popcorn gun.
Yep. Yeah, and so he was trying to blend in, making himself look like an animatronic, moving back and forth because there was another one right next to him. So right. I thought, okay, pretty clever.
Yeah, and he is also the only clown in the entire movie who was actually slim.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all of the other clowns are very heavy set.
Yeah, overweight in a way.
They are, yes.
Yeah. I got to show this comment from Brad, what he said. You want to see horror comedy? Let me get the video of my first wedding.
Brad, I'm starting to feel sorry for your ex-wife now.
Well, he does talk about her a lot.
I know. I'm starting to feel bad for her.
Oh man.
So anyway,
I just want to say for Anita, by the way, you know what? I'll tell you one thing right now, Anita, since you know who Sven Gulli is, I'm actually friends with him. So he is awesome.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy. Yeah, Rich Coase, yeah, he's great.
Now, this is one of my most prized possessions.
There you go.
Nice.
Because this here is one of the very first DVDs I ever got.
Is that right? Really?
Yeah. This here is, I may have had I think I had two DVDs before I got this one.
Okay.
And you see my collection.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so the clown that's on here, for years I thought this was Rudy, just like a mean version of Rudy.
Uh-huh.
It turns out it's not him. It's actually a clown called McGoy, who is Rudy's brother. Yes. And you only see him in one frame, and that is there at the end where you have all of these clowns that are coming up and climbing on this thing to get to Mike, Dev, and Dave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that would actually explain why he does, because upon looking at it, he does look a little bit different than the other ones. So that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, he has. Well, with Rudy, you don't really see his teeth very much. With this one, you do. But there's also a slight difference in the face. His eyes are more straight, whereas Rudy looks like he's got that droopy eye.
Yeah.
Well, half of the clowns have that droopy eyes, actually.
Yeah, a lot of them do.
Yeah.
Part of their characteristics.
So So Rudy and McGoy are actually brothers in this thing, but McGoy, you only see him in that one shot.
Interesting.
Yes.
I like Anita's comment. Reason why she's saying it in response, knowing that I know Svengoolie. And yes, Anita, he's half as cool in person. He definitely is.
He's awesome.
I'll tell you right.
So that begs the question: who the hell is Svengoolie?
Svengoolie.
He's a horror host here in Chicago. He every Saturday he like shows these sci-fi horror films primarily. He shows a lot of Universal monster stuff. He shows all kinds of creature.
Well, then he needs to do a show on this.
He did. He did, but that was like 15 years ago.
He's done it several times. Yeah.
So to make a long story short, the way how Svengoolie actually started back in the late 70s. It was played by the late Jerry G.
Just to let you guys know, Greg is doing a show tonight, so we only have 20 minutes.
We only have 20 minutes left.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But anyways, to make a long story short, Svengoolie started in the late 70s. It was played by the late Jerry G. Bishop, and he was the guy who basically hosted a lot of these horror films. And then after a couple years, the show ended, and they tried to bring back the show. And when they did, they had a young actor by the name of Rich Coase. And because this was a younger person, they decided to call it the Son of Svengoolie. So over the next couple of years, throughout the early to late 1980s, he would be having these, he would host every Saturday with showing different horror films. But then around the late 1980s, the show eventually came to an end, and a second attempt was to revive the show. But because by then, when they finally did in 1995, they decided that Rich Coase was now old enough to no longer be called the Son of Svengoolie. So Jerry G. Bishop gave...
That was actually what I was thinking there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's the complete opposite of Elvira, but similar in subject matter. But yeah, he's great.
And Dr. Demento also popped up in the mind too.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's basically... So since 1995, Svengoolie has been running ever since now for over almost 30 years.
He's in Chicago?
What originally...
He's in Chicago.
Yeah, he's in Chicago, and that's the thing too. When they ran the show, it was only specifically just a Chicago, a show specifically for the city of Chicago. Like if you lived outside, like much further out, you probably wouldn't have been able to see it. But it was only just a couple of years ago where they finally were able to expand throughout the entire country. So now you got other people from other parts of Illinois, other states. What's this? Just like
okay, Anita, we'll stop. We'll stop.
I'm in Peoria.
Yeah, well,
Peoria.
Yeah, she lives in Peoria, Don. So
Brad, don't even start that conversation.
Since it was only a couple years ago that Svengoolie has expanded throughout the entire country, so now you got other people who live in other towns, cities, and states that know who Svengoolie is. And he shows a lot of these movies, including Killer Klowns.
Yep, he's become. I just love how he's gone from local sensation to national sensation. So, yeah, I'm glad he's getting more familiarized.
He is not, and as far as we know, he is not showing any signs of retiring. He's been doing. I think he loves doing his character so much.
Oh yeah, I really do admire his commitment to the show, to the character. It's just amazing.
So back to Killer Klowns. We've talked about the sequel. It's been 35 years since that movie.
Yeah.
Now, this is something that would be rare for me to say, but I would not be opposed if they were to do a remake of this movie.
That is true. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, I imagine if a lot of people requested enough, I imagine it could happen. I'm wondering how they're going to design the clowns, what they're going to stick with as far as the crazy circus style weapons that they have.
I'm almost afraid to know if they made the remake that they're going to end up probably using CGI.
And that, but also. Yeah, I mean, that CGI, I'm not sure how to feel about that. But also, who is going to do the title song? I imagine they're gonna have I imagine they're gonna have a whole new band like doing a whole cover of Killer Klowns from Outer Space from the
man, that would be terrible because
I would think Fall Out Boy could do it.
who?
Fall Out Boy.
Hang on, I got to walk on in.
I mean, hey, it wouldn't it wouldn't be the first time they adapted from the Dickies. You know, the Banana Splits theme. They like
That's true.
They did the same thing. So,
well, if you kind of think about it too, not Fall Out Boy, but they did the same thing for the remake of Pet Cemetery.
Yep, Starcrawler.
Yeah,
Starcrawler. When they and also they also did that song again. Like I mentioned before, they covered the Pet Cemetery. They did a Pet Cemetery cover again for Frankenweenie. You know, a Disney film. It was what was it? Plain White Tees. Yeah, that's who that was.
Plain White Tees did that one.
Yep, adapted a Stephen King film theme song into a Disney film. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh boy.
What the hell? Sent a copy of his paintings. Pickles the dumpster clown. What the hell is that?
My cat.
No. I was just. I know that's your cat. I was gonna say
Pickles
what the hell
the dumpster clown.
About?
Pickles the dumpster clown. I'm sorry, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't know who that one is either. So when it comes to CGI, if they do it right, I think it would come off really well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not completely against CGI. I've seen it done very efficiently in some films, but
yes.
then there are some films that get it wrong, and I've seen plenty of examples of that.
Oh yeah,
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, I'm still not over how they CGI'd The Rock's face in The Mummy Returns. That was dreadful.
Yeah, that wasn't exactly the prettiest.
And I'm still feeling kind of iffy about
the prettiest.
And I'm still feeling kind of iffy about CGI Arnold, the internal Terminator Salvation.
But to be fair, The Mummy Returns was still in the 90s.
Yeah.
That was a good show, though. That was a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good movie for the most part, yeah.
I mean, and you have to remember, too, late 90s, this was still kind of the beginning when long before CGI was heavily relied upon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it took them a long time to really, really fine-tune that CGI. Now, if they were to do that with The Rock and The Mummy Returns, they would have been able to do that flawlessly. 25 years ago, not so much.
Right.
But in terms of the clowns, they would almost have to do a CGI if they were to try to stay true to how these clowns look. But also, they would need to be really careful to not them look ridiculous like the original storyboards of this movie.
Yep. Oh,
because
that is one of my favorite sequels. One of my favorite sequels of all time.
Terminator 2.
The T-1000 is one of my favorite movie villains.
And again, that was even a much longer time in the early 90s. That
was back in
again. CGI was still relatively new.
Yeah, that was back in 1991.
I'd like to see a remake of 13 Ghosts. That movie scared the piss out of me.
Oh, that's
there is a remake.
They already remade it. Yeah, they already remade it.
Well, they made a remake, but it's not as good, obviously, as the original one was.
No, it's
the original one scared the piss out of me, and I was, I think, 31.
Yeah, was that a?
I'm 50 years old.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What movie are you talking about, Dawn?
Talking about 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, I know. Which movie are you talking about? Are you talking about the one with Tony Shalhoub?
Yeah, there was like a original one, and also the remake has Tony Shalhoub.
That's the remake.
Yes,
that's the remake. Yeah. I would like to see it again with the way they could do it now, with the special effects and stuff.
Right.
Because the original 13 Ghosts.
Was Vincent Price in the original?
Yeah, the original 13 Ghosts, they actually did it. Well, they tried to do it to where you could watch it with the 3D glasses.
They weren't 3D, but they had the appearance of 3D. I mean, the effects that they used was, even though it wasn't 3D, it would allow you to, like, I think it was the red side, I think, that would allow you to see the ghosts, and then if you turn, the ghost would like disappear, so you could actually see the ghosts at will. Which was because it was also directed by William Castle, who was known for his gimmicks.
Yeah.
That was one of his trademarks that he did in that film.
Okay. Now with
oh
that,
my God,
can you imagine? Can you imagine if William Castle was the one who created Killer Klowns? Can you imagine the kind of gimmick that he would have done in the theater for when that picture was showing?
Oh my God. Still waiting for the episode of 90 Day Fiance with Nick and Samara.
Is that a man or is that a cat?
You saw that, right? I was like, oh my God.
Oh, man.
That is crazy.
So,
Anita, where the hell did you find this?
But no,
but yeah.
So, as much as I would love to see a sequel to Killer Klowns, especially with the premise that they were talking about, I would love to see that. But with it being 30 some years later, I don't know. But it would also make sense for it to be so much later, because now the clowns from the homeworld are wondering, hey, where are they? Let's go and investigate. So now you got that second wave coming.
That's what Anita sense.
Oh, man.
I mean, she said she painted it, and I don't mean any disrespect, Anita. That actually looks a little bit disturbing looking. I'm sorry, it just looks disturbing.
So you get where I'm going with this?
Yeah. Like, sequel, like, has been like they've been trying to get it off the ground for decades now, but I'm not sure if it's happening anytime soon. But it's like we're not able to get a sequel, but now we can get a video game.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing: they're now starting to get revenue from the licensing that they're getting with Spirit Halloween, the licensing that they're getting from the video game now.
That's right.
That should bring in a lot of revenue.
Right.
Revenue that could go towards the sequel.
Exactly. And which is probably what they're doing right now so that they can get this sequel up and running.
Yeah. It all adds up.
Yeah. They talked about doing a number of sequels, and then they talked about doing a sequel and a TV series with Sci-Fi.
Yeah,
although the whole thing about Sci-Fi, if Sci-Fi were to be the one to produce this, then that scares the shit out of me. But if the Chiodo brothers are still the producers of it and still the ones that created, then I would feel a lot better with them being at the helm of this movie, even though it's going to be on Sci-Fi, because Sci-Fi just turns things into utter shit.
Yeah,
there's no other way of putting it.
Yes, and Sci-Fi. Yeah, don't let Sci-Fi touch it, especially Asylum Pictures, because those guys are really bad ones. They make terrible movies. It's ridiculous.
The only time that the Asylum company has ever done anything good was when they made that show Z Nation. That was like the only thing that was good.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, then they start ripping off every big box office hit every single year. They always spew out a terrible ripoff.
Yeah,
I actually have, and I regret it because I thought it was supposed to be a new. This is made by the Asylum. I regret it now because I realize I may have gotten one of the worst movies.
Oh, Jesus!
Right. Damn it! Hang on a second.
Another fun fact. This guy right here, JoJo Clownzilla, was actually one of the Chiodo brothers.
Really?
Yeah.
One of the brothers?
One of the Chiodo brothers was JoJo.
I didn't know that.
That's pretty cool, actually.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and Don, so here's
he was the one in that costume.
So here's the film I got that's made by the Asylum that I now regret.
Let's see.
The Amityville Haunting.
Oh, put that away.
Oh my God!
I'm gonna give this to Goodwill.
Put that away.
Forget Goodwill.
Anything offshoot Amityville, forget it.
No, Nick. Not even Goodwill deserves that kind of cruel and unusual punishment. Not even Goodwill deserves it.
Well, no, I didn't realize this was like over a decade ago. I got it, and I didn't know because at the time I thought it was supposed to be a new whole Amityville film, and then after a year or so, when I found out about, like, oh shit, what the hell did I just purchase?
I watched that for the first time last weekend, and it was shit.
Yeah. So now I got to figure out what I'm going to have to do to get rid of this.
They have ripped off Amityville so much in the past few years. It's insane.
There's Amityville. There's actually Amityville Playhouse now.
Amityville what?
Amityville Playhouse, like having a circus style.
There's the Amityville Theater, the Amityville Scarecrow.
What?
Yeah.
Amityville Island, which involves a shark.
You think Amityville anything? It already exists.
In fact, actually looking up Amityville Playhouse, it's supposed to be actually a theater, but they're calling it Playhouse. So I thought they did one that was circus style.
Amityville in space.
Oh, come on.
Amityville in space.
Oh, for God's sake.
You think of it, they made it.
Jesus. And they're going to still make them.
What's next? Amityville of the Corn?
The Corn. Did you like
they probably already got one made.
Okay, so truth be told,
actually, let's not give them ideas.
Yeah,
right.
Jill. So
4 minutes left.
All right, so Jill, just to be completely honest, because she's asked me this, yes, I do have the remake of Amityville with Ryan Reynolds, but I haven't
seen that one yet.
I haven't seen that one yet either.
It's okay.
Decent, but nothing that you see in the film, like very few facts from the actual case are true. Yeah. But I've always said on many occasions, because now we always think of Ryan Reynolds these days because of Deadpool, I've always said this is a film that was made at the time when Ryan Reynolds, this was back when Ryan Reynolds became Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, and also had Chloe Grace Moretz in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in that. Let's see. Yeah, like I do agree with Nick. That remake is not as historically accurate as the original one was. You know, like, so
it still has a couple good scares, but it's just not accurate. Very, very few facts.
Yeah.
Now that I know the real story of all the hauntings and stuff, the actual made for whatever movies are
made for TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Well, this was released theatrically, and I also recently had found out when they made this movie, they actually, and Don, I don't know if you knew this, they actually shot this not too far from where we live, because they shot some area, it never obviously, unlike the original one, which the original one was actually shot in New Jersey. This was never shot at all in the East Coast areas. They shot it in certain areas of Chicago, as well as up in Silver Lake, Wisconsin. That's where the house is. Yeah. The house they used is in Silver Lake, Wisconsin.
I think I read
those wouldn't be bad places to film those.
Yeah, I think it was a cheaper budget than, to shoot over there instead of, shooting it up the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Nick, who's your favorite clown? Because we already know Don's, we already know mine. Who's yours?
Oh man, see, I think I know which one, but I always keep forgetting their names.
Don't worry about the names. Just describe it. What scene is he from?
It was actually the scene that we were talking about of the headlights and ramming into the car.
That's Slim.
Slim. Yeah, I like Slim.
Yeah,
because he really does. I think has that classic kind of creep. Like he does have that. Out of all the clowns, he has the classic look of what a creepy clown would look like.
Yeah, that's true.
Pointed hair.
Yeah,
fullness of him.
He actually does not look too far off from what Bozo looks like.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't. He looks very similar.
He looks like a demented Bozo.
He really does. And
and he also kind of comes across as the leader of the clowns.
I was just about to say
he does have the look to
be
him.
the one.
Yeah,
out of all the clowns, it seems like he is the one that is probably more intelligent. And yeah, he looks. That's just so funny you mentioned that. I was going to say he looks like he could be one of the leaders.
Yeah,
I think that Rudy would actually be the more intelligent one.
Oh, Rudy.
To me, Slim comes across as the brawn, whereas Rudy would be the brains.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We're down to the last.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
But there's also a lot of people who believe that Jumbo was actually the leader.
Really?
Yeah, Jumbo is the first clown that you see.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the first one that gets killed. Yeah.
The first one that kills the farmer.
The first one you see and the first one that gets killed.
Yes.
Jumbo.
Yep. So to wrap this up, Killer Klowns from Outer Space, like one of the most insane, outrageous horror comedies you will ever see, but it's worth seeing just because of the absurdity and just maybe like a good cheese movie.
I give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, this is for you. This is for you if you like a good old cheesy B movie style horror film of the 80s. So yeah. So
I have always said that the acting is terrible, the direction is terrible, the editing is terrible, but the story itself is there.
Give it 2 popcorn thumbs.
There you go. That works. I think that the story is there, and if they were to remake it using probably the same script or very similar with today's technology, I think they would excel at it.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
I give this film a thumbs up.
Just really quickly, just before we get off, I just wanted to say quick, the schedule. I mean, for us, it's going to be for this week. So, as some of you guys know, tomorrow night, I'll make this quick. I'm doing a 2-hour special of my show, The Nick Files, where I'll be giving a presentation on the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history, which is the Great Galveston Hurricane of 1900. In spite of me coming back on, this is not the opener of season 2. This is entirely a standalone presentation. I'm still planning on coming back in October, and it's going to be different compared to many of the other slideshows. It is by far the largest presentation I've ever put together, and one of the most important. So, because it's a story that's so long, that's why I'm going for 2 hours. So, starting a half hour earlier at 4:00 Central Time.
All right. Yeah. Everybody be sure to tune in for that.
And then Jeremy, I'm assuming it's open to. No, wait, no, we have Ernie Pack on for Supernatural.
Yeah, we have Ernie Pack, so it'll be my last time on Supernatural Talk, and I want to make it meaningful. Not last ever, but last for the year. So I want it to be meaningful. So that's why we got Ernie Pack on, so we can talk about Save Waverly Hills, which is near and dear to me. And then on the 13th Dimension, I'm getting a haircut.
Yep, and I'll be sitting there watching.
I'll be watching too.
Yep.
No, Brad, it is not going to be an 8-hour show.
Brad.
Yeah, that's never going to happen, Brad.
Supernatural Talk, no. But I will say this for 13th Dimension, I don't care. We'll let it go for however long. Because it'll be my last show for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
All right, well, everybody, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you, Jeremy, for joining us. Thank you, Dawn, for joining us as well.
And thank you to the audience for playing along.
Oh, yes. So thank you all for tuning in. Please be looking forward to seeing you guys back on here next week. So till then, see you guys next Tuesday. Bye.
Good night, guys.
Tomorrow night. See you later.
Yep, for sure. Bye.
Bye.